Dana, walk us through the numbers.
Well, I think the big thing is that obviously they're profitable, huge. First time they've been profitable since the third quarter of 2016. So it's only their third profitable quarter ever in the company's long history. But demand is still really strong. I mean, that was the big surprise. The big bear thesis was that they pulled out all the stops in Q3 and that there would be no longer any demand for these cars. But the customer deposit number is still like $900
million in deposits.
Yeah. So demand for these cars is continuing, even though they have worked through some of the reservations. As more cars get on the road, more people are ordering them.
So, Akshay, the question is, can they do this again and again and again? Is this going to become routine?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, what we're watching for, right? To Dana's point, there was a lot of speculation that some of these numbers might be front-loaded. But, I mean, this was a huge beat, as we all saw. And, Elon said as much that we expect to be profitable going forward from Q3 onwards. So if they can repeat this going forward, this is a huge win for Tesla, and it really shows the power of the brand more than anything.
I want to talk a little bit about the timing, Dana, because normally Tesla gives, a significant amount of notice for earnings results. This happened in less than 2 days. On Monday night, we found out that Tesla would be reporting today. The SEC prefers to have more notice. Is there anything unusual about that?
Okay,
Anything that
to be fair, Tesla always reports earnings on a Wednesday. Next Wednesday is Halloween. I know that myself and I think some analysts in New York were asking the company, can you please not do it on Halloween? Some of us have kids. So we were actually expecting that earnings would come maybe next Tuesday or possibly be pushed into November. But clearly the company has a good story to tell. Might as well tell it early. The fact that they pulled the earnings forward, everyone was expecting that this would be good news.
Akshay, let's take a deeper dive into the actual numbers. The company said still on target to deliver 100,000 Model S and X cars this year. Of course, we're always looking at the Model 3. When you look at the actual delivery numbers, are you liking what you see?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things about the delivery numbers is Model 3, Model S, Model X were all strong. And keep in mind, we haven't even seen the base level Model 3 yet, right? So I think that's a key part of what we're looking at is going forward, once the base level Model 3 does come out, a lot of consumers are going to want this car at $35,000 or at the lowest price, right? So there's still plenty of demand for Tesla. And, like I mentioned earlier, it's a brand that has so much power. It's almost like a lifestyle thing with Google or Apple. So as long as consumers are still interested, they're going to do well.
Tesla trading at new session highs and after hours trading up 14%. Dana, this is after a very tumultuous quarter. Elon Musk's run-in with the SEC after he claimed that he was planning to take Tesla private and had the funding secured for it. Tesla and Musk have now been fined collectively $40 million. He is stepping down as chairman. What are the outstanding issues with this settlement? A judge has approved it, but we're still waiting to see who will become Tesla chair, correct?
We're still waiting to see who the new chair will be. We should know that by mid-November. And then the board has to appoint 2 new independent directors by the end of December. And we don't know who those folks will be either. The board has been really mum about the search process. It's not clear if they're leading it internally, if they've contracted with a search firm, but that's going to really change the dynamics of the board.
Meantime, they're supposed to be also monitoring his tweets and his communications, correct?
That obviously hasn't kicked in yet.
Well, exactly. The tweets have continued. And Akshay, I'm curious if you remain at all concerned about Elon Musk's other behavior and if that is something that you're watching.
It is something we're definitely watching, but the reality is I think Tesla has a lot of leeway as a brand when it comes to consumer perceptions, right? It is always under scrutiny, but I think a lot of consumers do see this as, Elon is different. As long as he doesn't do anything egregious, we can take some of that if they're building these beautiful cars, and hopefully the quality comes along with it. So I do think the brand has some leeway as far as that is concerned with consumers.
Dana, do we have any indication of who the chair will be?
No. We really don't. I mean, a lot of names are floated out there, but that's kind of just wishful thinking. I mean, the chair could be someone existing who's already on the board. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone from the outside.
Akshay, who would you like to see in that role?
There's so much speculation right now. I mean, I think one of the important things is that obviously the Model 3 is Tesla's first really go-around with mass producing a vehicle. For a lot of consumers, it's going to be their primary vehicle, not their secondary or tertiary vehicle like the S or the X will be. So I think someone with auto industry experience might be important. We've seen rumors of James Murdoch and some other people. So, like Dana said, we have no clue, but it'll be someone with experience and someone with, deep leadership experience. We can probably expect that much.
Dana, we've also seen some analysts who have been very pessimistic about Tesla change their view. Now they are optimistic. Now they are long on the company. But what are the outstanding concerns that you're hearing from investors and analysts?
Well, I think, the concerns have shifted. First, it was, can they produce the car? And that took them a long time. Then it was, can they sell the cars? There's still demand. Now you're going to see the questions around service. Now that they've built and sold these cars, can they service them? If people have issues with their vehicles, can they get them fixed in a timely fashion? And Tesla is still clearly building out the infrastructure around that. And there definitely have been some snafus. You see people on Twitter asking Elon for help with whatever service issue they've got.
And sometimes he responds. So
Sometimes
that can be an expert move.